Is these chairs, right?
Yep.
My name's Scott Ledbetter. This is my wife, Brittany, and we're here to share God.
We've been married for 4 years, saved for pretty much the same amount of time.
Well, he continues time and time again, but we'll share a more recent one that was very, very prevalent on him doing and being in control of all things, bringing us out of the thick. I had thought that that I had taken care of everything that I needed to take care of, as far as like legally speaking, from things that I've done in my past, my criminal record, and all of these things. And unknowingly, years had gone by where I didn't deal with something. And so fast forward to being here at Antioch, me and my wife just felt a pull to be involved with kids ministry. We submitted our background checks. My wife passed hers, flying colors, and mine came back with an active warrant from a county that I was completely unaware of. And of course, this devastated me. This started to raise up feelings in myself that I really had to pray against. Thankfully, Andrew got on the phone with him, and we immediately just started praying it out. We began the process of trying to figure out what this even is. This had been from years ago. It wasn't even recent. I wasn't even sure the charge or what it was, what county, and just had to really start digging in things. And so I once again placed it at his feet. Placed it at God's feet, and one day specifically, I was in prayer, and God told me to just go. All the fears that I have of just, being away from my family, not knowing what's going to happen when I show up and turn myself in, God's telling me to go. And I said, okay. So I came out of that place and I told her, I said, I think God's telling me that I just need to go. I just need to turn myself in, and he has this. And she said, okay. And the very next day, she drove me to the courthouse, and I walked in there and I said, I'm here to turn myself in. And the prosecutor came out, got me, took me back, and it took me by surprise. Immediately, he started talking to me about the snow outside on the Superstition Mountains. This was in the beginning of March. So we had this amazing conversation on the way back to his office about, the snow on the mountains. And he took the letter that I wrote and he started to read it. And time was ticking so slowly for me because I was just sitting there waiting for him to read this. I also told him that I was sorry. That I was sorry for wasting his time, for the court's time, and that it is completely and 100% my fault, and whatever I have to do to make this right, that's why I'm here. And he scribbled out what he wrote down on the plea agreement right in front of me, wrote his initials next to it, and said, I'm gonna change your charge. I'm gonna drop it to a different charge where you won't have to, do A, B, and C. I'm also gonna lower your fine because I've never had anybody come in here and completely admit guilt and say that they're sorry to my face. And I started crying. I started weeping right in front of him. And he started crying as well. And it was like this amazing moment. I'm sitting here with the state of Arizona prosecutor, and we're both weeping together, and he's holding this paper. And he walks me back out to the judge, and he said, if the judge has any questions, tell her to come get me. And I said, okay. So I walked out there and I sat for the judge to call me, and I said, okay, I'm here, to pay my fine. And she's like, okay, well, state requirement is going to be that you're on unsupervised probation and you're going to have to pay this fine. I said, yes, judge, anything, whatever I need to do. And she said, are you able to pay this fine right now? And I said, yes, I will pay it in full and do whatever you guys need me to do. And in an instant, she just looks confused. Like her face just goes blank. And she starts rummaging through all of these papers on her desk, and she goes, I'm not going to make you do any probation. Pay your fine, and I just don't want to see you again. And I said, thank you, Your Honor. I walked out of there and cried my way to my car and cried and rejoiced. It was the most amazing experience because it wasn't just the physical of God revealing this warrant and squashing it, taking it completely away. But he healed something in my heart that day. When I had that moment with that prosecutor, he showed me that that's not who I am anymore. He didn't view me in who paperwork said I was. Paperwork says that I'm this person. But here this state prosecutor is sitting in front of me, and he says, this isn't who you are. And I see that. And that spoke to me. That did something in my heart and changed me in the way that God views me. And he used this man to impact that in my heart. I immediately called Andrew. I told Adam. I was telling everybody. I was just so excited because all these guys were along my side in all of this. Everybody was praying for me.
No one ever treated him like, I mean, could you imagine going to a, volunteer for a kids ministry and seeing that, like, you immediately think like, wow, now I'm embarrassed to go to church on Sunday. This is kind of embarrassing. And nobody ever treated him like that, ever. And walking beside him and showing him, like, look, this is truly just from your past. We love you for what God's done for you. And it was such a witness to me to see that support from my husband, from somebody. It was amazing. So God's good.
Yes.